Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Srimad Bhagavatam overview class. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, welcome everyone. We are discussing from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and last time we discussed the beautiful performance of Rajasuya Yajna, and in that Yudhishthir Maharaj invited all the devatas and all the kings. Brahmaji was there, Lord Shiva was there, Gandharvas, Siddhas, Charanas, Nagas, everybody was there. And Lord Krishna was chosen as the person who should be worshipped first. Agra Puja should be given to him. And in that, when Sahadev, he spoke such brilliantly, Shishupal, everybody agreed, everybody exclaimed, yes, excellent, excellent. But Shishupal, he was so envious that he started, he got up and he started criticizing the Supreme Lord. And all the Pandavas, they were about to get up and kill him, fight with him. But Krishna, Supreme Lord, he wanted to protect the sanctity of the sacrifice. So therefore he took out his Sudarshan Chakra and he beheaded Shishupal. Not even a drop of blood fell in the sacrificial arena. Everybody saw the soul of Shishupal coming out of his body and merging in the Supreme Lord's lotus feet. So after that, the Rajasuya Yajna was completed very nicely, and Shukdev Goswami, he ended the chapter by telling, everybody was happy and satisfied except the sinful Duryodhan. So, in the 75th chapter, which is entitled Duryodhan Humiliated. So Parikshit Maharaj, naturally, as attentive he is always, does not leave even a chance to, go deep into the pastimes of Krishna. So he asks, Ajata Shatrostam Drishtva Rajasuya Mahodayam Sarve Mumudire Brahman Nirdevaya Samagata Duryodhanam Varjayitva Ragya Sarshaya Surah Iti Shrutam No Bhagavam Tatra Karanamuchyatam. O Supreme Lord, O Brahman, Ajata Shatru Tam Drishtva. So, after Ajat Shatru, Maharaj Yudhishthir, he performed this wonderful sacrifice of Rajasuya Yajna, and everybody was happy. All were delighted. Sarve Mumudire Brahman. Everybody was happy. With as you said, only Duryodhan was unhappy. Duryodhanam Varjayitva. Keval Duryodhan dukhi tha. He was unsatisfied. So, please tell me, this is what I have heard from you. Tatra Karanam Uchidam. What was the cause of that? Karan to bataiye. So Shukdev Goswami had already told that Duryodhana was envious, and that was one reason he was not pleased. So now Parikshit Maharaj is asking more reasons why he was unsatisfied. So Shukdev Goswami goes into the detailed description of Rajasuya Yagya. Now he is zooming in. Earlier he just told the overview, the outline of Rajasuya Yagya. Now, when Parikshit Maharaj asked, he is going to describe in great detail what was happening in Rajasuya Yagya. So when Yudhishthira Maharaj he performed this Rajasuya Yagya, all the members, all the Kurus, everybody they came together because they all wanted to please Yudhishthira Maharaj. Some came just like Duryodhana and all the Kauravas, they also came out of family, familial bonds, and they had to show that, they are also happy, although he was very, very envious and very, very unhappy. So they also came. So Yudhishthira Maharaj did not force anyone to help in Rajasuya Yagya. Everybody came on their own. And according to their capacity, according to their likings, they took on various services. Bhima, as we know, he's a Vrikodara, voracious eater. Apart from that, he was very good cook also. So he became the in charge of the kitchen. So Bhima took the charge of kitchen, and Duryodhan, as he was attached to money, he took the charge of treasury, receiving the gifts. Karna, as he was very charitable, he became in charge of giving gifts, charity. Sahadeva, he greeted all the guests. Nakul, he was also helping in procuring all the items for sacrifice. And Krishna, he took the service of washing the feet of everyone. Arjun, he was, greeting all the respectable elders, especially the elders. Nakul was taking care of greeting everybody. Arjuna was taking care of especially greeting the elderly members of the society and the relatives. And according to their propensity, all the other relatives, Yudhan was there, Vikarna, brother of Duryodhan, who was the only one who, spoke when Draupadi was being disrobed. So everybody was serving. And they all wanted to please the Lord, please Maharaj Yudhishthira. So Chakravarti Thakur writes that actually, Jiva Goswami writes that Lord Krishna, he took the charge of washing the feet because nobody of the Kauravas, they were ready to do it because they were thinking, why we should take this service. They were so very proud. And somebody had to do this service. So, just to show mercy and out of affection for Yudhishthira Maharaj, Krishna thought, service should be done. So, I will do that service. So, he was doing that service very nicely. So then after the whole sacrifice, the priests were honored very nicely. They were given lots of charity, and after this, Shishupal was delivered, and last time we heard all the kings headed by Yudhishthira Maharaj, they went to Ganga and took their Avabhrita bath, ceremonial bath. And during that Avabhrita celebration, so many musical instruments were being played, bheris, dundubi, veena, and conch shells and mridanga. It was a joyous occasion. It was a festival going on. All the dancers, female dancers, they were dancing with such joy. And the chorus, there was wonderful chorus was going on. All the men, they were also enjoying. So the kings, they went for this Avabhrit procession, and they went with their 4 phalanx of armies, phalanx of chariots and horses and cavalry and foot soldiers. So it was a huge procession. And when all these kings were going with their armies, entire earth was trembling. It was that powerful. And on throughout the journey, all the Brahmanas, they were singing various mantras, and the Gandharvas, they were singing, and all the sages and the Pitris and Pitas, they were all glorifying Yudhishthir Maharaj and glorifying the Supreme Lord. So the men and women, they were also enjoying, everybody was enjoying. So all the women, they were also decorated very nicely with flower garlands and ornaments and sandalwood pulp. The men and courtesans, they seemed to, they smeared on each other so many of the various nice things, and they reciprocated very nicely. So in this occasion, Yudhishthir Maharaj's queens, headed by Draupadi, they also came out to see this. They came in palanquin, came out of the palace to see this wonderful fun. Just like Devatas, and they appeared just like the wives of the Devatas. They were dressed very beautifully, gorgeously, and all the queens, they started sprinkling water, colored water, liquids on their relatives, and in doing so, their entire clothes became drenched, exposing, revealing their bodily parts, and this created lust in those people who are not pure. And Chakravarti Thakur writes that actually Duryodhan, when he saw Draupadi, because he always wanted to marry Draupadi, and he had also gone to Swayamvar, but he could not win her. So he became very lusty. So in this way, the emperors, all the kings, they mounted their chariot and they went to take their Avabhrita bath. And after the whole ceremony was done, Draupadi, she was invited, and she, also dressed very nicely in a pure cloths, dressed very nice with all the jewelry and the ornaments, and she sipped the water for purification and took bath in Ganga. And in this way, this entire ceremony, huge sacrifice was completed. All the devatas, they started showering flowers. Kettle drums were being sounded in the heavens. And it was a wonderful occasion. And in this occasion, all the citizens from Hastinapur, they came. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudras, they all came. And they took bath in the river Ganga to purify themselves. Jiva Goswami writes that, whoever took bath in that place in Ganga at that time, they became free of all the sins. And it is described in Vishnu Purana that Shatadhanava, we have heard the story of Shatadhanava. He was killed by Krishna. He took birth as a peacock. And this time, when everybody was taking bath, Krishna was there. Shatadhanava, in the form of a peacock, he also came, he also took bath, and he got liberated. He became free of all his sins. So, taking bath in Ganga is beautiful and purifying because it is the foot wash of the Supreme Lord. Such is the glory of Mother Ganga. It comes in the first canto. Ya Vilas Shri Tulasi Vimishra Krishna Grirenum Abhyadikam Bunetri Punati Lokan Ubhayatra Seshan Kastam Na Sevet Marishyamanaha. Punati Lokan, Ganga purifies the three worlds. Who will not take shelter of Ganga? So taking bath in Ganga is purifying. What to speak of when this wonderful sacrifice was getting done in the supervision of Yudhishthir Maharaj and Vyasdev and all the powerful sages. We heard the list of the sages. Who is who of the universe was there. All the big sages were there. What to speak of when Krishna was there personally? What can be more purifying than this? So after this bath was taken, was done, then all the kings, they took their, put on their new silken garments and dressed themselves very nicely. And Yudhishthira Maharaj, he honored everyone. Bandhun gyatin ripan mitra suridonyam sarvashah abhikshanam pujayamasa narayana paro nripaha. So the main word is Narayana paro nripaha. Who was Yudhishthir Maharaj? He was Narayana para. नारायण परा सर्वे न कुतश्चन बिभ्यति स्वर्ग अपवर्ग नरकेषु अपि तुल्यार्थ दर्शिनः. Lord Shiva is telling to Mother Parvati, the devotees of the Lord who are Narayan para, those who are dedicated to Lord Narayan, they are never fearful of any situation of life. So Pandavas, headed by Yudhishthir Maharaj, they went through so many difficulties and they are going to suffer more in the future. After this, gambling match is going to happen and then they'll be again sent to the forest. But still, they never complained to Krishna. They were never, distressed and thinking why all these things are happening to us, because they had complete faith in the Lord. That's why Lord puts all these devotees in such difficult situations so that they can teach the world by their own example. So Yudhishthir Maharaj, he welcomed and honored everyone, all the relatives. So this is in a sequence from the most intimate to the lesser relatives. Bandhu, so his relatives, then Gyatin, immediate family members, then Ripan, all the other kings were there, then the friends were there, the well-wishers were there, and all the others. So from most intimate to the least intimate. So the list Shukadeva Goswami is giving. Pujayam asa, abhikshnam pujayam asa. Served them, honored them very nicely. Because he was doing it for the welfare, for the glorification of the Lord. So Yudhishthira was not doing Rajasuya for his own pleasure. He was doing for the pleasure of the Lord. That's why he was doing it with perfection. So then when all the kings and everybody was given sufficient gifts and remuneration, everybody was looking like Devata. Wearing all the wonderful garments and earrings and all the flower garlands were there, the turbans and the waistcloth. It was looking like they were Devatas. Such a wonderful scene it was there. And after this, all the kings and sages and Pitris and Gandharvas and the Devatas, they went back to their places. Haridasasya Rajarishe Rajasuya Mahodayam Naiva Tripyam Prashanshanta Piban Martyamritam Yatha. Shukadeva Goswami says, all these sages, devatas, pitris, and all the humans, whoever came, they kept on glorifying the Rajasuya Yajna. But they were not satisfied. It was such a wonderful sacrifice, such opulent, such elaborate. Everybody kept on glorifying the various things which they saw in Rajasuya Yajna. Just like an ordinary man is not satisfied drinking nectar, these people, they were not satisfied glorifying about this Rajasuya Yajna. Similarly, devotees are not satisfied speaking about Krishna. Because all this sacrifice, it was for the glorification of Krishna. So therefore, everybody kept on glorifying. Ko nama tripye tarasavit kathayam mahattamaikanta parayanasya nantam gunanam agunasya jagmu yogeshwaraye bhavapadma mukhyah. Ko nama tripye, who can be satisfied? Rasavit kathayam, those who are the knowers of rasa, they can never be satisfied hearing Krishna katha. Only a person who has developed a taste for hearing Krishna katha, he can actually, go on hearing Krishna katha. As we can see in the case of Parikshit Maharaj, he kept on hearing and kept on glorifying and encouraging Shukadeva Goswami, please continue, I want to hear more. Don't think I am satisfied. Don't think I am tired and hungry. No. He kept on hearing with great enthusiasm, always asking, okay, why this happened? What is the reason for that? So that was the case with all the people, because everybody wanted to glorify. So now, as all the kings and the sages and the devatas, they were departing, Yudhishthira Maharaj, he stopped some of the relatives. He did not want them to go. Who were they? He stopped some of the relatives, some of the friends, and some of the other kings. He stopped close relatives like Bhishma and friends like Drupada, and he stopped foremost of his worshipable, Devata, Supreme Lord Krishna. He did not allow him to go, because he was thinking, after such a long time, I'm getting association of Supreme Lord. Please, oh my Lord, you should stay for some time more. And that is how Yudhishthira Maharaj is such a great devotee. It comes again and again. Whenever Yudhishthira Maharaj requests, Supreme Lord stays for months. In the first canto also, after Kunti Maharani offered her prayers and Krishna was departing, Yudhishthira Maharaj came. Oh my Lord, please stay for some time. And Krishna stayed for months. Here also, Yudhishthira Maharaj again requesting, oh Supreme Lord, please stay. Supreme Lord stayed for months. He sent all the other relatives, okay, aap log jao, main baad mein aata hu. He sent Samba and all the Yadus back to Dwarka. And then he stayed with Yudhishthira Maharaj. So in this way, Shukdev Goswami tells that Yudhishthira Maharaj was relieved of the burning ambition of performing this Rajasuya Yajna, and it happened only by the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, nobody can cross. He had such an intense burning desire, but only by the mercy of Supreme Lord that desire was fulfilled, because it was done for Supreme Lord's pleasure. So therefore, in this world, everybody has so many desires to fulfill. But it is like a formidable ocean. Ocean of desires is such a huge ocean. It is bottomless and shoreless ocean. It is impossible to cross the ocean of desire. Since millions of lifetimes we are trying to cross the ocean of desires, but still we have not come to an other end. But somehow, if we take shelter of Krishna, then this entire ocean of lamentation and hankering can become the water in the footprints of a calf. Samashritaye padapallavaplavam mahatpadam punyayasho murare bhavambudhirvats padam param padam yata vipadam natesham. Samashritaye padapallava plavam. Anybody who takes shelter of the boat of the lotus feet of the Lord, Mahatpadam Punya Yasho Murare, that supreme lotus feet is worshipped by great saintly personalities. Punya Yasha Murare. This Bhava Ambudhi, this ocean of material existence, this ocean of desires, hankering and lamentation, it becomes Vatsa Padam Param Padam. It becomes like water in the hoofprint of a calf. Very easily anybody can cross. So Srila Prabhupada, he writes in the Krishna book, it seems that this function of Rajasuya Yajna is a great ocean of opulent desires. And it is not possible for any ordinary man to cross. Only by the mercy of the Lord one can cross this ocean. Anyone who takes shelter of the Supreme Lord, he can become free from all the material desires. Because Lord is Ichcha Pidhanam Nijpada Pallavam. Supreme Lord's lotus feet is a reservoir of all types of desires, fulfilling all types of desires. Anybody who takes shelter of Krishna, his desires get fulfilled. Because he does not have any material desires left after that. Krishna purifies those material desires and fill the heart with spiritual desires. Chandrika Vishada Smairai Saruna Panga Vikshitai Swakarthanam Ivarajah Sattvabhyam Srishtipalakai. The glance of Krishna creates a desire for service. Smile of Krishna destroys and dries up the ocean of tears, and ocean of lamentation. That is the wonderful nature of taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. So then, one day, as all these things are happening, Duryodhana was still there. Everybody left, Duryodhana was still there. And he would roam around in the palace and this, assembly hall which Mayadana had created. It was a great, very mystical assembly hall. And Yudhishthir and Duryodhana, he would become so very envious, seeing the opulence of Yudhishthir Maharaj, especially the inner chambers of Yudhishthir Maharaj, this palace, seeing the greatness of the sacrifice, greatness of the and opulence of the palace, his satisfaction, his envy grew. He became more and more dissatisfied. So Parikshit Maharaj had asked what was the cause of dissatisfaction? Two causes. He saw the greatness of the sacrifice and he saw the opulence of the palace. So the grandeur of the sacrifice and the wealth of the palace made him more and more disturbed. So in this palace, Mayadana, what he had done, he had collected opulences from all the devatas, and also when the Pandavas, they had gone for a victory all over the places, they had brought so many wonderful gifts from all the devatas and the sages and the kings. And Duryodhana, he was becoming more and more restless. And when he saw Draupadi serving her husband so very nicely, her lust, seeing her beauty, his lust became more and more prominent. And on top of that, Krishna was there with his thousands of queens. So seeing the opulence of Krishna and the queens and the beauty of queens are described, seeing all that, Duryodhana became more and more and more restless. When Yudhishthira Maharaj would sit in the palace, he would look like Indra surrounded by all the associates. Because the palace was, especially the assembly hall, it was made by Mayadana. And on top of that, Krishna was there. Krishna was a special eye he was like a special eye of Yudhishthira Maharaj. And Jiva Goswami writes that in that palace, the halls had pillars made up of gold. And the hall was 10,000 hands wide. Huge hall. And it would show very brilliantly like fire. It would be illuminated by all the jewels, and it was a festival to see this palace only. And Mayadana has created an assembly hall, and that assembly hall was all the more opulent. And Mayadana had appointed 8,000 Rakshasas and Kinnaras to protect and maintain the assembly hall. Maintenance bhi lagta hai na? So he had appointed them. So one day, proud Duryodhana, he was entering the palace and he would keep insulting the gatekeepers out of envy. And many times he would get bewildered by the illusory spells which were there in this Maya Sabha. One time he mistook floor as water and he lifted his lower garments. It's like we have to walk through water, dhoti utha ke chalte. And other time, he didn't realize that it was water. He thought, it is a ground, it is a floor, and he fell into the water. Everybody started laughing. All the gatekeepers started laughing, and all the Pandavas, they were there. Bhima, Arjuna, Nakul, Sahadev, everybody started laughing. Yudhishthira Maharaj stopped them. Duryodhana, he had never experienced such insult, such humiliation. Although nobody humiliated him, on his own it happened. So concealing all his emotions, he did not even look at them. And then he continued. Again this happened. Thinking that there was a door, he thought that the door was open and the door was closed. He hit his forehead. And then another time the door was open, but still he thought, no, it seems door is closed. So he went away from it. So seeing all this, Bhima and all the women, they started laughing. Duryodhana could not take it. And immediately he left from that place. Everybody was laughing. And Yudhishthira Maharaj, he tried to stop them by movement of his eyebrows. But Supreme Lord, by his movement of eyebrows, he sanctioned, you go ahead. Because he wanted to expedite the process. He wanted to reduce the burden of the earth. So in this way, Shukadeva Goswami says, O King Parikshit, I have explained why Duryodhana was dissatisfied on this occasion of Rajasuya Yagya. So then after this, Shukadeva Goswami tells another story. So what happened when Krishna was there in Hastinapur after the Rajasuya was over and Yudhishthira Maharaj requested that please stay for some time. So Krishna and Balram and all the queens, they were there in Hastinapur. So the 76th chapter, which is entitled The Battle Between Shalva and the Vrishnis. So Shukadeva Goswami says that, O King, now I'll describe to you another wondrous deed of the Supreme Lord, in which he killed the master of Shaubha. Shaubha was the flying airship, which was given to Shalva by Supreme Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva, he told Maya Danav, and Maya Danav had made a beautiful, very, very powerful and mystical airship called Shaubha. So who was Shalva? So Shalva, he was a friend of Shishupal, and when Shishupal, he was there and he had come to marry Rukmini, Shalva was also there. The birds of same feather flocked together. As Shishupal was envious, Shalva was also envious of Krishna. And when he saw how Krishna, he kidnapped Rukmini in front of everybody, and Shishupal was so very sad and devastated. And how the warriors, they had defeated Krishna, Shishupal, and Shishupal was humiliated. And then later he was killed. So Shalva, he took a vow. I will get rid of this earth of the Yadavas. I'll take a vow of this. So just see what will I do. So that was his vow. He swore that. So with this in mind, he started doing tapasya. He wanted to get powers, so he did tapasya to please Lord Shiva, and he was eating 1 palm full of sand every day. That's it. So somehow, the worshippers of Lord Shiva, those who are demoniac, they do all sorts of things to torture their body. We know the story of Rikasur also. He was putting his own flesh, he was cutting his flesh and putting in the sacrificial fire. So this Shalva, he was eating sand, 1 palm full of sand every day. And he did this for 1 year. Lord Shiva is Ashutosh, one who becomes pleased very easily. Although for us it is not so easy. But in comparison to other devatas, Lord Shiva gets pleased very easily. And Lord Shiva appeared at the end of a year and he gave the desired benediction. So Lord Shiva was thinking, Jiva Goswami tells why Lord Shiva gave such benediction. Because he knew that Supreme Lord wants to have a fighting experience. He desires a great fight. So therefore I'll give him some power so that he can please the Lord by his fight. So Shalva, when Lord Shiva came in front of him, he asked for a vehicle. that could fly in the air with all the mystical illusions. It should not be destroyed by anyone. And, that airship should create terror in Vrishnis. So Lord Shiva said, so be it. And he disappeared and he instructed Mayadanav. And he created a flying airship of iron. And he gave to Shalva. So Mayadanav was also very happy because he is also a demon. He was happy creating this, mystical, powerful airship. And taking this airship, Shaubha, which was full of all the mystical illusions, it was dark, full of mystical illusions, and it would go anywhere. So when Krishna was not there with Balram, Shalva went to Dwarka in his airplane and he started attacking. He, covered the entire city of Dwarka, surrounded the city of Dwarka, and he started showering all sorts of weapons. And along with that, he started showering stones and tree trunks and all the mystical weapons. And then he started destroying all the public areas, watchtowers, highways, everything he was destroying. He was showering thunderbolts also, snakes, hailstones. This city was, full of soldiers. All the soldiers, they were showering all these weapons on the citizens of Dwarka. And it was such an intense attack that entire city of Dwarka became full of whirlwind. Dust was everywhere. Nobody could see anything. So Shukdev Goswami he addresses Parikshit Maharaj as, "Oh, best of the Bharatas," because he wanted to comfort Parikshit Maharaj. You don't worry. Whenever Parikshit Maharaj is there, right there, when he's hearing Bhagavatam, he's hearing Krishna Katha, he's right there, experiencing all those emotions. We heard in the, sixth chapter where Putana entered Gokula. Sakhe chari ekadotpatya Putana balaghatini shishumshachara nigananti pura grama brajadishu. So when Putana entered Gokul, Parikshit Maharaj became anxious. Are kya hoga abhi? So Shukdev Goswami pacified him. Don't worry. Nayatra shravanadini raksho gnani swakarmasu kurvanti satvatam bhartu yatu dhanyasya tatrahi. Wherever Krishna Katha is going on, where the names of Krishna are recited, there can be no effect of any ghosts and, all the spirits. What to speak of when Krishna is personally there? So now also when Parikshit Maharaj is hearing Hare, Shalva is attacking the entire city, he is becoming a little anxious. So he's telling, "Oh, best of the Bharatas, you know the power of the Lord. Don't become fearful. Don't worry at all." So Shalva, he had come with the intention of destroying the entire city of Dwarka. And he started tormenting all the citizens when Krishna was not there. So all the citizens, they went running to, Pradyumna. So Pradyumna, because Krishna was not there after that, Balramji was not there. So Pradyumna was now the descendant of Krishna. So Pradyumna, he saw the condition of all the citizens. He said, "Do not fear. I will take care of it." And then he, along with all the commanders of the Yadu army, Satyaki, Charudeshna, Samba, Akrura, and all the other warriors, they were there. Gada, Shuka, Saran, everybody came dressed in their armors to destroy the Shalva. And just like the Devatas and the demons, they had a fight. We heard in the 8th canto. Similar fight started. A hair-raising, tumultuous battle started between Vrishnis and the Shalva's soldiers. Pradyumna, he immediately came forward and he started destroying all the illusions of Shalva. Started shooting arrows. And the arrows of Pradyumna, it is described, they had a golden shaft and very sharp arrows, sharp arrowhead made of iron. And with those arrows, he started destroying the chariot, the horses of Shalva, chariot driver of Shalva, he destroyed. And then he started shooting arrows. He shot 25 arrows on the commander-in-chief of Shalva. His name was Duman. He shot 100 arrows on Shalva. And by the sheer force of these arrows, Duman, he became unconscious. And such powerfully Pradyumna was fighting that all the soldiers on the side of enemies and the Yadus, everybody glorified Pradyumna. So then Shalva, he saw this Pradyumna is creating a havoc. So immediately he started creating more illusions. So the Shobha airplane started appearing in many forms. Sometimes it would appear in one place, sometimes in multiple places, sometimes it would appear on the air, on the ground, on the mountain, on the water. And in this way, everybody was getting confused. But Yadavas, they were also very powerful. Wherever this, Shobha would appear, they would start shooting so many arrows that everybody was getting bewildered on the side of Shalva. Shalva became so much bewildered. He thought, okay, I'll have to do something. So Vrishnis, they were so very powerful. They did not leave. Although these Shalva soldiers, they were attacking invisibly, showering arrows from the airplane. But Vrishnis, they didn't leave their posts. So as Prabhupada writes in the Krishna book, that they knew that if we'll die, we'll go to heaven, but we will not leave. So as all these things are going on, Duman, who was, unconscious, so he came back to consciousness. He came running back to attack Pradyumna. And he struck Pradyumna with his club on his chest. And Pradyumna, he became unconscious. Although Pradyumna is, the expansion of the Lord, he is a Chaturvyuha, nothing can happen to him. But because of this Chit Shakti, because of the Lila Shakti of the Lord, to increase the excitement of the fight, Pradyumna became unconscious. So the chariot driver of Pradyumna, he was the son of Daruka. Daruka is the driver of Krishna, and son of Daruka is the driver of Pradyumna. So it is a duty of a chariot driver to protect the soldier. So immediately he took Pradyumna away from the battle. And as after some time, Pradyumna, he came back to consciousness. He started criticizing and chastising Daruka. How could you do that, oh driver? How you have done so abominable activity? You have behaved like a eunuch. How can you remove me out of the battlefield? So Chakravarti Thakur writes that actually, who is this, chariot driver of Pradyumna? He is the son of Daruka. Daruka had such intense love for Krishna. Similarly, Nectar of Devotion describes that Daruka, he had raga bhakti. Once he was fanning the Supreme Lord and he had tears in his eyes. So similarly, the son also had intense love for Pradyumna, the Supreme Lord. So he could not tolerate, seeing him in such distressed situation. So he had brought him. So he had done a right thing by bringing Pradyumna away. So Pradyumna, but he was very angry. He said, except for me, no one in the Yadu dynasty has abandoned the battlefield. My reputation has been stained because of your action. What will I say to my fathers? Balaram, Krishna, what will they think about me? What can I tell them? My sister-in-laws, they will make fun of me. They will make a fun. How come you became so coward that you ran away from the battle? So that's what he is telling all this. And hearing all this, the chariot driver, he tells, "Oh my lord, I have done what is suitable according to the scriptures. It is a duty of a chariot driver to protect the warrior, and similarly, the warrior should protect the chariot driver also. So I removed you from the battlefield because you were unconscious because of the attack of that club." So Pradyumna, he hearing all this, he was pacified. He washed his face with water. And he refreshed himself, put on his armor, took his bow, and ordered the chariot driver, "Take me to the place where Dhiman is there, standing." So this Pradyumna, he again came. In the absence of Dhiman, in the absence of Pradyumna, this Dhiman, he was creating havoc in the army of Yadus. So Pradyumna, he came and he was smiling because Chakravarti Thakur writes that why he was smiling? Because he was smiling as a sign of perseverance. For a Kshatriya, all these pains and the wounds, they are glorious for a Kshatriya. So Pradyumna, he was smiling and he attacked. He attacked Dhiman. With 4 arrows, he attacked Dhiman's 4 horses. With 1 arrow, he destroyed the bow. With another arrow, he destroyed the chariot. With 2 arrows, destroyed the chariot driver, killed him. And then when the last one, he cut off the head of Dhiman. He was dead. And when all the other members of Yadava army, they saw Pradyumna is fighting so very nicely, they also were rejuvenated, enlivened, and they started fighting and killing all the other soldiers. Gada, Samba, Sarana, they started destroying all the soldiers. And all the soldiers, they were there in the airship. Their heads were getting severed and they were falling in the ocean. In this way, the battle went on for 27 days. So now Krishna was there, and so we are now, we started that 77th chapter also. This is entitled Lord Krishna Slays the Demon Salva. So now Krishna was there in Dwarka. After the Rajasuya was over, he started seeing some inauspicious signs. So he took leave from Yudhishthir Maharaj and he left for Dwarka. On the way, he was thinking, because I am away, these kings who are not in favor of Yudhishthir Maharaj, they must have attacked Dwarka. Those who are in favor of Shishupal, because Shishupal was killed by me, they must have attacked Dwarka. So thinking like this, he reached Dwarka, and when he reached Dwarka, he saw how people were so very threatened, and he saw the ship of Shalva. He saw Shalva attacking. Such a great fight was going on. First of all, Supreme Lord, he stationed Balramji to protect the city, and he recruited a special force to take all the queens to the inner chambers of the palace. And then he put on, Krishna, Supreme Lord, he put on his armor. He called for Daruka. "Oh, Daruka, immediately come. We'll have to go and fight with this Shalva." So as soon as Shalva he saw, and all the warriors on the battlefield, they saw the emblem of Garuda, because Krishna, Supreme Lord, has a Garuda, the emblem of Garuda on his chariot. Everybody understood, oh, Supreme Lord has come. Shalva immediately he threw his spear. Very powerful spear. It came with a lightning speed, like a meteor. It was shining, effulgent. It made the entire sky illuminated. It was coming with a frightening speed. Supreme Lord, with his arrows, he destroyed that spear within moments. Then he started showering so many arrows. He destroyed the airship. started shooting arrows on the airship, on the Shalva, and in this way, the fight was happening. Shalva, he managed to strike the left arm of Supreme Lord. And to everyone's surprise, Sarang bow fell from the hand of Krishna. Everybody, all the devatas and all the other devotees, they started, crying, oh, how could this happen? Alas, alas. Shalva, when he saw this, he said, you have kidnapped the bride of my friend, and then with your cousin you killed him later. So, and when he was inattentive, you did that. Your cousin Balram, he killed him. Today, I have come to show you. Today, I'll send you to the place of no return. So, Supreme Lord, when he heard this, he said, oh, the real heroes did not speak much. You are boasting all this in vain because you don't see the death standing in front of you. Just show your prowess in the battle. Then Supreme Lord, he threw a club, his gada, and it hit on the collarbone. And Shalva started trembling and vomiting blood. Immediately Shalva disappeared, and in a moment a man appeared. And he went to the Lord and said, Devaki has sent me with a message, and spoke that, oh Krishna, Devaki's message is there. Oh Krishna, oh Almighty One, Shalva has kidnapped Vasudev, your father, just like a butcher carries the animal away. Shalva has kidnapped your father and is about to kill him. Next moment, Shalva appeared and with Vasudev. And Shalva said, you fool, now in front of your eyes I am going to kill your father who gave birth to you. For you, he is everything. And then in moments, he severed the head of Vasudev. And Supreme Lord, when he saw, he was playing a role of a mortal man who can bewilder the Lord. But as a Leela, he got bewildered and started thinking, how is this possible? Balram is ever alert. No Devata, no demon, nothing, no living entity of this world can defeat him. How can this tiny, insignificant Shalva kidnap Vasudev? So, as he's, thinking all this, then after that, Krishna, he understood, because he is Supreme Lord, he is full of knowledge. He was doing his pastimes as an ordinary human. Then the moment he came out of that, and he realized that, oh, this is all illusion. And within that moment, Shalva, this Vasudev disappeared, and that man disappeared, and Shalva was there standing. So then Shukadeva Goswami described that, oh, how can lamentation, bewilderment, and material affection, fear, how can these things affect the Lord? Because anybody who takes shelter of the Lord becomes free of these things. How can Lord be affected by these things? It is not possible. So just by taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, Yashaucha nisrita sharita pravarodakena tirthena murjnati kritena shiva shivo bhut dhyaturumana shamala shaila nisrishta vajram dhyaye chiram bhagavatas charanaravindam. Just by meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord, one becomes free of lamentation, one becomes free of sinful reactions. So how can Lord be affected by these things? And devotees, just by serving the lotus feet, they are purified. They are free from bewilderment. How can Lord be bewildered? So therefore, Supreme Lord, he understood, okay, this is all illusion of Shalva. So Shalva, he continued to hurl all the weapons. And Supreme Lord, he started shooting arrows, he wounded Shalva, he destroyed the airship of Shalva, and the airship fell on the ground. The Shalva, now on the ground, he continued shooting arrows, fighting. Supreme Lord, he shot an arrow, cut off the arm, and then he sent his Sudarshan Chakra, and he beheaded Shalva. So that is the deliverance of Shalva. And as the head of Shalva fell, all the followers of Shalva, they cried, "Oh, alas, alas," and all. The Devatas, they started glorifying, playing instruments and showering flowers. And in this way, Shalva was dead. So that is the end of this chapter. So, okay, how do we understand that Shatadana has to take birth after being killed by the Supreme Lord? Many times in the past times, things happen by the will of the Lord. And it is not that, anybody who is killed by the Lord, although they get impersonal liberation. But depending on the desire of the Lord, if somebody can again take birth and get purified, because even the demons, they get liberation as impersonal Brahman, or they may get Sarupya Mukti, or but their Sarupya is not that intimate. So therefore, sometimes these things are described that a person takes birth again and he got a chance to get purified even more. So Shatadhanava, he was delivered, he got a better liberation now. So all these things are inconceivable, although Jiva Goswami Chakravarti Thakur does not give any of these insights of why Shatadhanava had to take birth again. But these are some of the pastimes of the Lord which keeps happening. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Krishna Bhagavan ki jai.